Hello, everyone, and welcome to the post-show live chat, conducted for the first time ever from the floor of my house because I can't get up. I can't get up. I'm in shambles after that ending. Oh boy. Okay. All right. We're gonna do this. We're gonna get through this. Okay. Whew. All right. Okay. So before we get into the chat before we get into the chat, few rules. Number one, say as many spoilers as you want because the season's over, unless they're Matt James spoilers. Okay, keep those to sleuthing spoilers only, please. Number two, we're going to go through the chat. It's going to go fast. And I'm going to try to answer as many questions as I can. Super chats will get priority. And last but not least, be kind to each other. If there's anything you're feeling right now, it should be love. So, love only in the chat, please. And thank you. Wow, what a just wonderful finale. What a wonderful finale. No after the final rose. I know, right? What the heck? No after the final rose, but still a wonderful ending. I'll take it. It's 2020, I'll take it. And John, already, thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Of course, we all knew it was going to be Zach in the end, but I was so confused when she suddenly pulled Ivan aside and sent him home. What was she saying? And yeah, so it looks like there was maybe a chat or something that happened in the fantasy suite with Ivan that wasn't really addressed on the show. They were talking about religion, and I don't know. I think Tayshia sort of knew what was up a little bit before all of this Ivan stuff went down. I think Zach was always the pick. So, one, golf clap to Tayshia for her handling of so many of these situations this season where she pulled most of the men aside. Men who she really respected and men who she cared about. She didn't just hand them a rose or not hand them a rose or whatever. She pulled him aside and told him what's up. And I think Ivan, based on his reaction, kind of knew what was up too. So, hats off to her, but I think at that point she pretty much knew what was up with Zach. She had made that choice. I think after hometowns, maybe, I don't know. Certainly by that fantasy suite, she had made her choice. And Emma, thank you as well for the super chat. What happened to the AFR? No AFR. I guess they decided not to even address it. I guess it was too difficult to do with, they were probably already filming the Bachelor season. And with, the pandemic and everything, just too difficult. So I guess that's it. No AFR. I still need some closure. I need closure on Ivan. I need closure on how are Zach and Tayshia doing? I need to know deep in my soul. I'm sure we'll find out real quick. I'm sure there's already posts. I'm sure there's already a post on Tayshia's Instagram or something that someone has already looked up that I can't right now. But if I swear it's 2020, don't put it past 2020. But if they're broken up, I will scream. I will scream. And Asiya, thank you so much again. Always super chatting. It doesn't go unnoticed. I really, really, really appreciate the support and the super chats. Really, really do. Was that not a beautiful proposal? I'm so happy. I 1,000% agree. There are some very memorable proposals which seem truly genuine, truly happy, truly they just get you right in that heart muscle, that love, muscle, whatever in there, just punches you right in that spot. This is one of them. I just really felt some joy coming out of those two in that. You know? Wasn't subdued. It was really just, I don't know, nice. So nice. After multiple seasons of The Bachelor and Bachelorette that have ended in just drama, heartbreak. You know, we had Jed and Hannah Brown. We had Peter and Hannah Ann. Like, it's been a long while since we've had a just, like, traditional ending that was just happy. That was just happy. And we can walk away feeling good. You know, it is nice sometimes when the show ends on super drama. It's like interesting. But man, it's nice to end on a good feeling, especially this year, especially right now. It's nice. It just feels nice. You know? For so many of us who are going to be isolated, people who can't see their family right now, just to have something good, something that feels good, is really, really nice. So, this is the well-timed. Thank you, Tayshia, Zach. Thank you for that. And Salome, thank you so much as well for the super chat. Thanks for taking us through the season. The finale seriously brightened a horrible year. I was a Zach stan from the start. Thank you for supporting the channel. Already speaking to what was on my mind just seconds ago. Absolutely wonderful ending to the year for Bachelor Nation, at least. And Emma as well. Thank you for that for all you do, Chris. Thank you so much for super chatting. Thank you for being a part of the chat. This is I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the love. This is gonna be a stream of love. I'm feeling it. Feeling it. And Melissa as well, thank you for the super chat. I just completely scrolled away from this. All right, I'm back. Just sending some support for all of your amazing recaps, previews, and live chats this season. What a beautiful finale. Look, I'm not the only one feeling it. Thank you as well, Melissa, for the support, for the love. Really appreciate it. So, heart emojis in the chat. Wow. So, great ending to the season. We have also. I wanted to say something. We missed someone from the other day. I don't know if she's in chat here, but she super chatted and it got messed up. If Grace ever shows up, Gracie, I got your message from the other day as well. And if there are any moderators in chat, just let me know if she's around or if she makes herself known as well. But yeah, so an ending that was just all about Zach, and for me, it feels like this episode just Zach, right? Just Zach. And Ella as well. What about Ivan saying, "Please don't do this to me"? Seems like it was cut. Really interesting question. I'm going to have to look at that footage. See what's up. See if there's any like matching. Because it obviously wasn't from this date. It obviously was from something different. But very good point. A lot of people have been talking about that as proof that Ivan would get dumped, but then it wasn't the reason why Ivan got dumped. And Gracie, yes, hi Gracie. I saw that your message was, for some reason, the super chat, not it didn't go through for whatever reason. I don't know why, but I got your message. One of the moderators forwarded it on to me, and thank you for that message. I really appreciate it. From yesterday and all the super chatting. So yeah, Hannah Ann as well. Another thing that was cut from the season. Maybe we'll have something to talk about. Things cut from the season. There was for Peter's season I did this. footage that was cut from the show. Obviously, I want to take a couple days for Christmas and wrap all the presents I have for my dogs. That's going to take some time. And then we're going to get into a review of the season. We've got one more recap tomorrow and a preview breakdown for Matt's season of The Bachelor. They showed us that at the end of the season. A lot of really interesting stuff, including a mega villain edit that we're getting from Queen Victoria. No surprise. But might also have to look at the cut footage from the season. And why was it cut? And what does it mean? What did that footage mean? So we're going to have to look at that. And Megan, thank you for the super chat. What were the differences that Ivan was talking about? Excellent job this season, as always, Fantake. It seemed to me like the biggest thing that they were... the reason why Ivan was gone, apart from maybe that it was always going to be Zach no matter what, was there was something religious. Maybe it was incredibly important for Tayshia to have someone who was more vocal about religion, and Ivan just wasn't. Now, that's not to say that Ivan isn't necessarily. I don't know Ivan. He can speak to this better than anyone. But, he could be a spiritual person who doesn't talk about it. Or he could not be a spiritual person, and that's fine. That's totally fine. But obviously that's not what Tayshia wanted. And Ivan seemed to, while he was, I guess, upset at the end there, he seemed to kind of see the writing on the wall. That was my perspective in the moment. So I think whatever talk they had behind the scenes during their fantasy suite date was either one about their spiritual beliefs or sort of there was an obvious difference there. I'm certain that we'll get more information on this in the days to come, as well as how Zach and Tayshia are doing, how Ben's doing, and all that. I'm sure it's all going to come out. There's going to be interviews, like they always do. Zach and Tayshia, the final couple on like Good Morning America and stuff tomorrow morning. So there's going to be lots to go off of on that. And Ryan as well, thank you for the super chat. I'm so happy we were all able to share this season as a community. Will you be surprised if Dale and Claire last longer than Tayshia and Zach? That's a great question. Because at the end of the day, I don't know, right now you're hitting me with Dale and Claire versus Tayshia and Zach. That's not a good time to be hitting me with that. I'm not going to give you the clear answer here because I'm feeling the Tayshia and Zach right now. So I will accept no Tayshia and Zach's slander at this moment. So I would obviously choose Tayshia and Zach right now. But, Dale and Claire so far seem great. Though I guess it's harder to choose them because they were so much quicker. But also just appreciate this season did something no season of The Bachelor has ever done. Brought us 2 engagements in one season. And especially after a season, 2 seasons, 3 seasons, 4 seasons, whatever, where there's been no engagements at all. Not including Paradise. So, let's just be grateful for the moment. And Megan, thank you for the super chat. What were the differences that Ivan was I talked about that one. I got through that one. Let me just get back. Sometimes I got to reset this scroller here. No, Allie, thank you. Allie, thank you for the super chat. Great ending. I'm so happy for Tay and Zach, but I hate how people are still hating on Claire and Dale. We have 2 happy couples in one season. See, people are already ahead of me on this. Exactly what I'm thinking. I think there's always going to be a lot of hate on Claire and Dale because the season was not as good. If you're comparing the Claire and Dale time versus the Tayshia and Zach time, we're also, talking about this right now where we're coming off the high of Tayshia and Zach and the happy ending. I think, and I'll talk about this in the video when I get to it, but I think a lot of what we feel about Claire and Dale's, season is frustration because there was a lot of drama. There was a lot of, misuse of time and it just wasn't as good of a little season compared to Tayshia's time where we got a lot more of a traditional season. We had a great cast of men who were showcased and, a real happy ending. And Tayshia, I feel, dealt with the season incredibly well. So in comparison, we're just kind of left with a bad feeling. And as a result, that bad feeling kind of seeps into Claire and Dale's relationship. In all honesty, I just wish Claire and Dale a happy life together, if that's what they choose. And I don't wish them any ill will. Why would you? I hope they work out. I hope people are happy. Is that a bad thing to say? And FET Black Box, thank you for the super chat. We are concerned because neither Tayshia nor Zach have posted, and GMA just says that Tayshia is coming. Don't give me this bad energy right now. No. We'll see. Don't take away my bad feeling right now, please. I'm sure there'll be an update, and if it's horrible, we will deal with that when we get to it. Please don't be horrible. And John, again, thank you so much for the super chat. Looking back, it's funny because I feel like sometimes I forget Claire and Dale even happened with such a good time it's been with Tayshia and Zach. Yeah, totally agree. It seems so long ago. And it's great to keep it that way. Let it be there. Let them be happy. And let's just enjoy Tayshia's season right now. The season that was delayed, the season that almost wasn't even a thing. Let's enjoy it. I wish Tayshia could have had a full season. I wish there could have been more here, but I'm just happy. Don't smile because, don't be, what's the quote? Don't be sad because it's gone, smile because it happened. And Margaret, thank you so much for the super chat. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you for your continued support, commenting, all that, being a part of the community. Really appreciate it. Thanks for a great season, Chris. Looking forward to seeing your post-season vids and driving into Matt's season. Also awaiting a fan take / Think Story collab. LOL. Conspiracy hat. Oh, I don't know. Could happen. He has been moderating. So, really appreciate that. And War Machine Rocks, I think I skipped over yours. Thank you for the super chat. Whatever happened to Hannah Ann? Wasn't she also at La Quinta too? That's another thing. Talking about the stuff that we've missed. Footage that was never covered or cut from the show. Hannah Ann was cut. At this time, I don't know. But I will look into that. It looks like maybe I'll have 3 videos to get to. One will be covering the thing, like whatever happened to this shot, whatever happened to this or that. Hannah Ann, another one of those examples. She was at La Quinta. It was part of the whole craziness of the season. People were showing up at La Quinta. Tayshia showed up. She was supposed to be the Bachelorette, and then, Becca's back after her breakup with Garrett, and Hannah Ann showing up. People were wondering, could there be multiple Bachelorettes? There was even this crazy theory that that there was going to be this council of Bachelorettes, which was ridiculous, but, fun to think about. Yeah, I don't know, but she was there, and I will look into that. I will look into that for sure. And John, thank you for the super chat. Oh, got that one. Sorry, there's a bunch here. Alexandria Brooks. I hated how they have... Thank you for the super chat. I hated how they have an adorable engagement right off into the sunset in the cab, but then Chris's voice interrupts us with Matt. Like, let's take 5 more minutes to embrace Tayshia and Zach and be happy. Yeah, I know. It was a lot to handle all at once. After that, high of that season and the drama of, an extended preview, but it speaks to how it's going to be. We are going to be getting a short break, and then it's right into a new season. And, we got 7 months of off season. Now we're getting 7 months of just straight Bachelor content from this October all the way to March. And then a couple months break and back into Bachelorette again. So, this is the reality we're in now. But thank you so much for the chat. Thanks for everyone who's super chatting and supporting the channel, being a part of this talk. Thank you to Bachelor in Quarantine, Bachelor in Quarantine 2020, who super chatted saying thank you. Really appreciate it. Thank you for the support. Again, Allie, thank you for the super chat. Thanks, Chris, for your Bachelor/Bachelorette commentary. You're the one main reason I watch. Will you recap Claire and Tayshia's seasons separately? I don't know. I think due to the time constraints and the amount of time we have before getting back into Matt's season, it's going to be one video. I'll do them separately, but in one video. I had thought about doing 2 videos, a shorter one for Claire, a longer one for Tayshia. But I think just with the amount of time that we have, it's going to be just getting back into it and cutting as much time as I possibly can. And Creepshow Art, thank you so much for the super chat, for the big super chat. Really appreciate it. With a rose. Yes, I will accept this rose. Absolutely. Thank you so much for the big super chat, showing support for the channel. Latrice as well, thank you for the super chat. Hey, I kind of wish she would have eliminated Ivan after the fantasy C-suite date if she knew that their beliefs weren't lining up. Yeah, I think I agree with you. I wonder if some of that was thrown kind of haywire because of Brendan going. She might have planned all along to send Ivan, that in the final 3. She might have known after that date, okay, I think Ivan's going. Let's see how the other dates go to make sure. And then, Brendan goes, Ben comes, and it's kind of thrown all into craziness. But I think she might have had that intention based off of the way she pulled Ivan aside. But I definitely agree with you that, if it had been more clear cut, it would have been nice for her to do that. I think either way she had she had good intentions there. We don't see that often, I feel, in many seasons. There are so many like just cut-offs at rose ceremonies in this franchise. So I did appreciate that there was at least the effort there. And Sarah, thank you so much for the super chat. The devil works hard, but Bachelorette producers work harder. The editing was crazy this season. Love Zach and Tayshia and wishing them the best. I agree. There was some editing. For example, in the past preview, the one from last week, for this episode, they showed Zach and Tayshia, like Tayshia walking away, Zach looking upset, leaning against the wall, and it ended up just being kind of them being super serious because, they were about to get engaged. They were taking it really seriously. But when you put in the preview with some dramatic music, it seems like, whoa, are they going to break up or something? And Rebecca, thank you for the super chat. Who are your top picks for Paradise? Any and all of the men in the final 3 here. Ben, Ivan, Brendan, all of those men are, I feel like, as long as they want to be in Paradise, they will be there. Dark horses are Joe, as long as he keeps people interested, and he's single and he's a doctor. It's not easy to get away sometimes. Bennett and Noah, if they come together. I think if you see Noah show up or Bennett show up, probably expect to see one or the other show up as well. Because that's going to be drama. They want that reinitiated fight between the two. But other than that, it's so hard to tell. If we go into the next Bachelorette season and it's a bad cast, expect to see more men from this season. But the one thing that the next Bachelorette season is going to have going for it is recency bias. Because that season is going to be happening right away. And it's going to be easier to forget some of the men from this season. Like, right now, you'd say Damar, total lock for Paradise. But we'll see how that is down the line. We'll see how that is in May, June. Right? Look, I right now, so happy to see Damar there. I'm more talking about, the realities of what the producers are thinking. I want to see Damar there. I think he'd be great. But I'm just thinking from the way that the producers typically do these sort of things. There are going to be exciting men as well, I hope. I hope, from the future Bachelorette season that happens in May. Because they are planning this. They are already planning Bachelorette. They're no, I'm not just saying that. They it has been said. They are planning their next filming location right now for The Bachelorette. Because Matt James' season is a wrap, and it's on to the next one. And they're already planning Paradise, too. But it's harder to formulate Paradise when you don't know what exactly is happening with The Bachelorette, because there's a whole new cast of people. So, we'll see. But it's already in the plan. And Ashley, thank you for the super chat. And a rose. Another rose. Feeling really, really, really loved tonight. I will accept the rose. Thank you so much. And Rachel thank you for the super chat. Happy holidays to you and the puppers and all of your viewers. Thank you for helping make 2020 a little bit brighter. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel. And the bird gets fit. In Tayshia's Insta story today, she was gleaming and she was so happy. She might be waiting for West Coast to air before an actual post. Great point. There was the point earlier that was talking about they hadn't made a post yet, and that was concerning. And your comment totally makes sense to me, and I'm choosing to believe it. And all is right in the world again. Wow. Thank you so much. And that does make sense as well. I'm not just like choosing to believe it because I want to believe it. It does make sense. So, and Tayshia is on the West Coast too. So it might make sense that she would align her post. Like she's from California. At least last I heard, last I knew, like when she was called in for to be the Bachelorette, part of what made sense was that she was already there in California. So makes sense to me. So wow, thank you for those that flurry of super chats. And what an ending to the season. One thing I'm going to talk about a bit in my recap. A little conspiracy theory for y'all here. Did Tayshia choose Ben because she knew she wanted to pick Zach? And hear me out on this. She just posted. Let me see this. I'll whip my photo out from my phone. This is exciting. Tayshia's Instagram. She made a post. Well, West Coast, you ready? That's the post. Yeah, West Coast, you ready? At least on her Instagram. I'm guessing she's going to wait then. She'll wait till the West Coast footage is done, and then she'll get into it. So here, back to the conspiracy theory. She picked Ben because she knew she was going to go into the final two, meet the family with Zach. She wanted to pick Zach, and she was worried that maybe her family might get charmed by Ivan. So maybe Tayshia was playing 4D chess. You know? She knew what she wanted to pick. Because tell me that final two date, the date where Tayshia's family met Ben and then met Zach, wasn't a total layup for Zach. You know? That's the conspiracy theory for now. Tayshia's bio? Good trouble. Hashtag good trouble. Yeah. There you go. There it is. Hashtag good trouble. Tayshia put on her bio and Instagram. Yeah, that's it. They're fine. She would not put hashtag good trouble in her bio if she wasn't talking about Zach, if they weren't fine. And Kaleidosaurus, thank you for the super chat. I was late, but did we talk about how she was wearing the same outfit in her chat with her dad as breakup with Ben? Yes, I have looked at that. There's some potential timeline issues with when she broke up with Ben. and when she talked with her dad. You know, who her dad could be talking about, what she had done already by that time. At this point, I know of it, but I can't speak to. I can't speak to. You know, does that mean anything? Is it just some weird timing, or what? But I'll add it to my list on that video of things things not touched upon on this season. Just make a little note here. And maybe I'll cover that too. Tayshia's outfit with Ben and her dad. And I'll see if I can drum up some evidence for that. And Holly, thank you for the super chat. Really, really appreciate it. Thanks for recapping the season and for the live streams. All the work you do is appreciated. Always entertaining to watch and to put on my tinfoil hat. So glad. So thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting the stream and the channel. And for everyone who's done it. Really, really appreciate it. Are you planning on discussing the Bachelor preview tonight? No, but I am planning on discussing it. I'm going to discuss it. I'm going to start working on it after the next few days. I'm going to take a little break for the holidays, for Christmas. But I am going to do a video on it. And it's so hard to talk about it in depth right now because I've only had one viewing of it. Typically when I do a preview breakdown, I've looked at the preview like 17 times, you know, at least. And I've stared at like a bunch of the frames. You know, it's one of the reasons why I do the recap the day after, not just because it makes sense, and then the preview breakdown the day after that, but it helps to have that just extra day to watch a preview and prep all the footage and everything. You know. So it's difficult to just like talk about it, but like so far a lot of the like my initial reaction is there's a lot of Queen Victoria in the Bachelor preview. If you've looked at my preview breakdowns, I think we talked about her in the last, or at least in the live stream recap, Chris Harrison's Meet the Women live stream. And, you know, she's villain. Typical villain edit. Very typical. Otherwise, most of it seems pretty standard. There's a couple of women who we know are going to be on the show. They were in the original cast list, not in Chris Harrison's live stream introducing the women, but they are going to be on the show. We've seen at least two that I can just visit, like, you know, remember from watching the preview at first glance. I saw at least two, including Michelle. I don't know if these names mean anything to you right now, but I think Michelle could be a potential frontrunner, early frontrunner. So, and also just harkening back because I'm seeing some comments. Good Trouble. She talked in the episode. Her and Zach, you know, she talked about Zach being good trouble. So hashtag good trouble is a nod to her fiance. Even though she hasn't released the post yet about how they're doing, because the West Coast hasn't seen the episode yet. And Emma, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for a great season you made. My 2020 bright. Will you accept this rose? Another rose? Thank you so much. Absolutely, I will. Thank you for the super chatting, the multiple super chats. Really appreciate it. Really, really appreciate it. And Caitlin as well. Thank you for the super chat. Caitlin Bristow is live on Instagram now and said that there's no AFR because of COVID and the holidays, and that there could be a catch-up on during Matt's premiere. Interesting. Well, there you go. Thank you for that update. I did not know that. Thank you for letting us know. Yeah, that would make sense. There's more, time to plan for something like that. So, I think we saw with the men tell-all, it was hard enough to get even those 10 people into the room for the tell-all. So it's not much of a surprise to see there being no AFR. I mean, as much as we kind of want it, as much as we want updates on how everyone's doing, I think I guess it makes sense for right now. And Kaleidosaurus Rex, I added that Rex just because I don't know, it made sense in my mind. But thank you so much for the super chat again. Thanks so much, you the best. Been out of Bachelor Nation for years and wanted to get back in. Your vids made it easy, so thank you. Thank you so much for supporting the channel and for super chatting. Really, really appreciate it. So yeah, wow. Like, I think I'm just really happy to have a traditional ending for once. Tayshia and Zach, and it made sense the whole way through, despite all of the, Ben returning and it feeling so strange that Ben returned and then took Ivan's spot in the final two. At least it ended on this right note. And I've talked a lot on this channel about Zach being the safe choice, but also being the right choice. And I think it's this feeling of, like, sometimes you see on the show, people choose the safe choice because they don't know what to choose. They don't know who to choose. And it can be so confusing in this sort of Bachelor fantasy world. What's it going to be like when we get back to our jobs and our homes and the realities of, living together, paying bills, interacting with our families and our friends and our coworkers and all that. And so the safe choice is the easy one to make because, it seems more steady despite what your feelings are. Like, I'm really specifically thinking of Ari and Becca and Ari and Lauren. Obviously, Ari made the right decision in the long run for himself. He has a family right now. Ari and Lauren are pregnant again. But he spoke to, during that season, how Becca was the safe choice for him. It seemed like the smarter choice at the time. Zach, to me, and I know people have been saying, I don't think Zach was the safe choice in the chat. I think Zach was the safe choice in... he was the safe choice and the right choice. Right? Because the right choice for Tayshia was the person who was steadier, who was more willing to prove that he was absolutely in this for the long haul. So, and I know Ivan also seemed like a sort of kind of like he was a steady guy as well. I think we saw from the beginning that for Tayshia it seemed like Zach was a steady source for her. So, and Sandra, thank you for the super chat as well. Would Tayshia have chosen Zach if Brendan had stayed? That's a good question. I think if Brendan had stayed, he would have made it to the final two. But I do wonder. I do think with with all the anxiety around proposing that Brendan had, if he had not left, he still would have not won. You know, a lot of the men outside of the show have talked about Tayshia. It was important for her that, you know, the man that was going to be with her showcased that he was not, that he was not going to waver. And so I think at the end of the day, though she had a huge connection and probably a great attraction to Brendan, that she still would have chosen Zach. So at the end of the day, you know, we can talk about safe choice, not safe choice, passion choice. Tayshia, it feels like, made the right choice, no matter what. So that feels nice. Yeah, no AFR, not even a Zoom call. But, did Chris Harrison make a tweet about it? All right, let me get back here on this. Chris Harrison, what have you tweeted? It pains me there's no AFR live special this Bachelorette season due to being pushed into the holidays and the difficulty of bringing people safely together during this time. It wasn't possible, but hopefully we'll be back for The Bachelor. So there you go. There's the update. And which makes sense. Makes sense. You know? Getting people together is tough. They were also, you know, either right now or if they had tried to tape it beforehand, it would have been too difficult with the Bachelor stuff going on. So maybe we'll do a little Claire did have an AFR, yeah. But like her season ended like eons ago. So, yeah. And Claire and Zach, they're going to be on, you know, news outlets, like whatever. They're going to be on, they're going to be out there tomorrow. So, it's not like we're going to wait till Matt's season before we get an update. So, yeah, why did Chris Harrison say it would be a shocking ending, though? Because Chris Harrison says that every season. He says that I don't believe a word this man says. I have been spurned too many times by Chris Harrison. Remember Peter's season when they had this like shocking preview to start the season where they showed us the finale footage and we're like, no one's gonna guess what happens this season, and it ended up just being Hannah Ann showing up, you know, alone and going, ooh, do I want to go through with this? And Chris Harrison going over to Peter and saying, we don't know where she is. We don't know where Hannah Ann is. And then 5 minutes later, Hannah Ann shows up and Peter proposes to her. I don't believe a word. I don't believe a word he says anymore. I don't take it for anything. Because every time they say that, you're not going to believe what happens at the end of the season. They're just hyping it up. That's all. Of course, next season he's going to say that and it's going to be something crazy, but no, don't believe it. Don't believe it. But you got to be on your toes. Remember during Colton's season when they filmed a final rose ceremony and they put it in the previews. And then there ended up being no final rose ceremony. You got to be on your toes. You got to be on your toes with production. So, never forget Carlos. Never forget. Where is Carlos? Is he still with Ed? Is he been thrown into the production prop room with all the other puppets? Like Adam's puppet from Rachel's season. This is what we need to know. This is why we need an AFR. I need an update on Carlos. I have to wait till Matt's season. And they're not even going to talk about Carlos at all. Poor Carlos. What time will they be on the GMAs? That's a good question. It's usually like 8 or 9 o'clock. They did, I remember getting up for when they announced they had Matt on. And for Claire, it was something like 8 o'clock. Eight or 9 or something. It's always pretty early. Carlos will be back for Bachelor in Paradise. Don't worry. You better be right. You better be right. What's next for Bachelor Nation? Hey, a gay bachelor plus or at least normal-sized female contestants. You got you got to be vocal about that. Like if we weren't vocal about there being a more diverse cast or there being a first black bachelor, it wouldn't we wouldn't be there. Like that wouldn't have happened. So, I know it seems like normal sized female contestants seems like yeah, right? Like they would do that. Well, be vocal about it. Let's be vocal about it. Because at the end of the day, if there's anything we've learned, the people at The Bachelor will comply if they feel like their audience is turning against them. So, be vocal about it. Don't stop being vocal about it. Right? And I know for a fact there are people who work in production who want stuff like that. There are people like that. If you think that it's something that everyone is super against and you have to bend their arm, that's not true. Not entirely true. So, be vocal about it. But contestants who aren't fresh out of college, so at the end of the day, I think like priority one is always good TV. So if they find someone who's fresh out of college and they could have a season full of people who are mature, whatever you want to say, whatever you want to, see as an ideal cast, and then, one person who is immature for whatever reason, they'll throw them in there because, well, at the end of the day, this is a show about romance. They want the drama too. And the drama really fills in the middle of the season. If you think about Tayshia's season and how it played out, wonderful romance right at the end here. But think about that middle, full of drama. Bennett and Noah, Ed and Chasen, Bennett and Chasen. That dominated the middle section of the season. And typically that's where the most drama is, where the front runners are already outlined and the rest of the guys need to do something, so might as well cause drama. And the bird gets fit as well. Thank you again for the super chat. Release Recovery posted about Zach and Tay's proposal on their Instagram. This is the rehab center Zach works at, so that's a very good sign. Thank you for doing the sleuthing for me right now. Coming through with the sleuthing. 100% agree. Makes so much sense. Why would the place that Zach works for do that? You know, they're not beholden to ABC. They're not contractually obligated to make posts. Like Zach and Tayshia, you know, theoretically could be, you know, beholden to ABC to make a few posts right now. But that would seem weird for that to happen. But all right, we've got one more recap to get through tomorrow, and then it's holiday break, and we're back on to a new season of The Bachelor. So if you have any last questions, comments for the season, make them now. And be sure to tune in again for the final recap for Tayshia's season. It's been a good season. I'm really happy this one ended well. Really, really happy. So, why did they mess with the timeline on the Ben breakup? There's only one reason why they ever mess with the timeline. Because of the story that they want to tell for the season or for the episode. It's at the end of the day, this is the primary thing. It's telling a good story, and that's about it. So they know what they have to deal with. They've got a season of Tayshia where she gets engaged and it's a happy ending. But there does need to be some drama involved too. They need a little bit of you know, will they, won't they? Will there be a spoiler? Will Tayshia make the wrong decision, even if it's sort of clear at the end? You know, there needs to be something at stake. It's sort of like, I think about this. I was watching this last season of The Amazing Race. And I felt like it was a really tough season for editors to handle. I don't know if any of you have watched the last season of The Amazing Race, but a lot of the episodes, it was clear who was going to win, or at least this alliance sort of thing that happened. They were just clearly helping each other, and they were winning every time, and there were a lot of episodes where one person would just be in the lead and stay in the lead, and there wouldn't be any kind of like equalizer. It's hard to edit that. Hard to edit that. But you have to do the best with what you get. You have to do the best with what you get. You know, so they try to tell as much of a storyline as they can, and so, you know, even though it's obvious, they will try to make things seem like it's closer than they are. But in this Amazing Race season, there were episodes where they didn't even try to make things seem close, because how can you make a challenge between two teams in last place seem close when neither of them are even at the same challenge at the same time? When one person, you know, does the challenge and then leaves, and then 30 minutes later, the last place team actually shows up in the first place. So at some point, you just have to kind of give up the goat. And, you know, Zach was leaving the challenge before Ben even showed up in this last episode, right? So they make it look as close as they can up to a certain point, but then it's doing a disservice to the storyline. So that's my kind of rough way of talking about how they edit a season to make, like, even the timeline looks weird because they're just trying to make it look as good as they can. So So thank you so much, everyone, for joining me for this live chat, this finale. It was a great season. So glad to be back watching this wonderful franchise that we love. This wonderfully trashy franchise. And that sometimes hits us really hard in the feels. It did today. And after 7 months of off-season, it's been a satisfactory ending. So we'll have a lot more to discuss in the next recap tomorrow. We're going to have at least a review of the season. I'm going to see about looking at discussing some of the things that were not addressed from the season, Hannah Ann, some of the timelines that were weird, footage that never made it to air, and also the preview for Matt James' season. And once we're done all that, we're going to be there. It's going to be January 4th. We're going to be back into a new season, starting it all over again. So thank you all for joining me tonight. Have a wonderful night. Stay safe. Happy holidays. And until next time, Bachelor Fan Take out.